Hey, Truth Bandits. If you're wondering what the Truth Bandits are, it's pretty similar to the Goonies. Alright, so realizing that the Bigger Than Snowden website went down at some point, which is weird. I've been to that website a bunch of times, but suddenly it's down. Coincidence? Who knows? So now I'm going to show you another website about targeted individuals. This website, Targeted Justice, and this is really major. These guys do big things. They are an actual nonprofit organization, and they've got a great website. We'll take a look at Midge's story real quick. So Midge Mathis, she's a targeted individual. I'm not going to read this, but you can just see what these electromagnetic weapons have done to her face over the years. This is horrible. I mean, I've seen some of these burns, but this is some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. So these crimes are happening. This is like, to me, this is like the bleeding edge of human rights violation. So that's why I stress the fact that it's so important to talk about and expose this with this hardcore peaceful revolt. So this just goes into a little bit of the action that they're discussing. Basically, to force a government employee to do his job. Basically, a grand jury is formed to investigate the evidence of targeted individuals, bring criminal charges against those responsible. The U.S. District Attorney fails to form the grand jury, we may have grounds to sue him. So that's pretty major stuff. And, you know, I'm sure that's all possible under the Constitution of the United States, which is still in full effect despite the illusion that it's not. Okay, next website. This is called fightgangstalking.com. And this is a pretty old site, but it's got good info. And I went ahead and I went to this page because it just gives a brief explanation. So gang stalking, what I like to call organized stalking, because I think it's a more accurate term. So gang stalking is very likely a disinformation term created by U.S. intelligence agencies. It refers to the intense, long-term, unconstitutional surveillance and harassment of a person who has been designated as a target by someone associated with America's security industry. Such operatives have nothing to do with criminal gangs. Official domestic counterintelligence operations of this type are apparently perpetrated by federal agents and intelligence security contractors, sometimes with the support of state and local law enforcement personnel. You know, isn't that revealing? Unofficial operations of this type are apparently perpetrated by private investigators and vigilantes, including many former agents and cops, some of whom are members of the quasi-governmental association of law enforcement intelligence units. LEIU is the acronym. Sometimes on behalf of corporate clients and others with connections to the public and private elements of America's security industry, which you could also call the corporate military industrial complex. I think that's quite an accurate description. I could even add more adjectives to that, but I'm going to keep it simple. The goal of such operations in the parlance of counterintelligence agents is disruption of the life of an individual deemed to be an enemy or potential enemy, kind of like the Minority Report, that movie, of clients or members of the security state. Arguably, the most accurate term for this form of harassment would be counterintelligence stalking. Really? I thought stalking was illegal. Because it is. Agents of Communist East Germany's Stasi police state referred to the process as I can't even say it, Zersetung, German for decomposition or corrosion, a reference to the severe psychological, social, and financial effects upon the victim. American and British victims have described the process as no-touch torture, a phrase which also captures the nature of the crime. Cowardly, underline that, unethical, and often illegal, but difficult to prove legally because it generates minimal forensic evidence. So I'm going to just do one more paragraph, guys. Tactics include, but are not limited to, slander, blacklisting, mobbing, intense organized harassment in the workplace, black bag jobs, residential break-ins, abusive phone calls, computer hacking, framing, threats, blackmail, vandalism, street theater, staged physical and verbal interactions with minions of the people who orchestrate the stalking, harassment by noises and other forms of bullying, and I would like to add being a fucking coward and following old women around, for instance. So that's about all. It's so important, this information. So share it. I know my videos don't look that great, but I feel that the information is great and is so important, and it really is shining a light into the darkness. All right, thanks a lot, everybody.